Is that an old pickle jar? It was so loud. Is it?
Yes.
That's crazy.
Okay.
Kosher.
Kosher. Yeah, it was an old pickle jar. I've been trying to get this off, but
Goopy gone.
I do have goopy on, but I also saw a hack that if you soak it in Windex. What?
That's crazy.
Why?
That's a lot of Windex.
No, you sorry, don't submerge the whole jar. That'd be crazy. But if you take a paper towel and spray a lot of Windex on it and then
that
wrap
makes
it,
way
and then
more
you
sense.
can scrape it
I
off.
was like, that is so much Windex. I can't even fathom.
You can't.
Well, I can fathom, but
I mean, you've seen a bottle of Windex.
Windex is very strong chemical.
It is very strong ammonia.
Here we go.
Okay.
Is there a way to make it stop?
Yeah, you have to hit the button again. I think it's just easier to just let it play. I still can't hear it.
That's it, folks. It's done.
That was crazy. It's done?
Yeah.
Oh, that's exciting.
It sounds so quiet now, Sarah.
Oh, sorry.
I think you should have just left it.
Oh, I turned you down. How's that?
Probably pretty good.
I mean, can you hear yourself?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, perfect. Okay. Wonderful. Well, welcome back, guys, to the Love Heals podcast, your behind the scenes look at all the details in between. I forgot how I say it. Your behind the scenes look into what it takes to start a nonprofit from the ground up and all the details in between. Something like that. All our diehard fans know.
That was crazy.
I had a stroke potentially. Wow.
You're gonna be all right.
Maybe. Who knows? All right. Well, we just finished our last event of the year that is not a tour stop.
It was such a confusing way to say it because we have so many more events this year.
5 more events, but
I was gonna say our last event.
Well, to me, this was our last standalone show of the year, which it is. The rest were marketing.
I don't know though, Sarah.
Go ahead.
Well, listen,
I'm forced to do nothing but.
I know. Yes, it is our absolutely last planned event of the season.
What does that mean?
Well, it means that we have 3 noms that have come in. Obviously, 2 of them not as applicable. One in Texas. I don't know.
Sure.
I don't know how the one in Texas found us. I just texted James from LinkedIn and said, do you know who this person is?
I'm in that group chat.
Oh, yeah, you saw. Okay. So I texted him. And then the other one's from Waynesboro. So we have the Foundry, but I need our selection nominating resource team to do a pre-assessment on that storyteller nomination first. And then... But apparently, did I not tell you about this? Looks like I didn't tell you about this.
Idea.
Apparently, at the gathering when we were at Genworth tabling, I was gonna leave Genworth on Wednesday. That was the day we did it, right? Last Wednesday. I was gonna leave and roll over to the gathering, which is part of Vision 30, which is run by 518, which is an organization in town, to try to have all kids supported by either their own families or a church family by the year 2030. Because
Are you explaining
Vision 30?
Vision 30. Okay.
Yeah, 2030.
Yeah.
So that was a goal, and they meet once a month to talk through different cases. Okay, so we go to the gathering, or at least I do. I'm not sure if you've ever really been to one.
I've been to 3.
Okay, so I go to them on a regular basis, but decided to opt out to stay at Genworth and connect with people there on Wednesday. And apparently our name came up a bunch of times because they are now doing real, case study, not case studies, they're DSS workers are submitting cases, kind of the cases that they don't know what else to do with, and they're kind of this is just really bad and we don't know what to do next. And they're submitting them to the Vision 30 and then the gathering partners who all meet together to truly brainstorm at the gathering on how to help.
Well, that's a good idea.
I think it's a great idea
I think they
because
should be doing that every month instead of what they have been doing.
they are doing it every month now.
Tight.
Now it's part of like the solution process, which is really
Okay,
cool
that's cool.
to watch how Vision 30 has grown and changed. But it's less about talking and more about practical application. Anyway, so that's what Alicia Childress from Freedom First sent me a text screenshot of some sort of case. I had no idea what it was because I guess Vision 30 just started doing this. And then Amy Foster texted me. And then Allison Jordan texted me, and they all were like, Love Heals came up a bunch at the gathering.
In what context? In the context of like we would be able to help with
In the
this
context
specific
of
case that
the
they were breaking
specific
down?
case is extremely applicable to what Love Heals does. To which I told Amy and Allison, and not so much Alicia, just because I haven't had a chance to catch up with her. But I was like, well, you know us. Very willing to help, but very in need of support to help. So, yeah, I don't know. We'll see what happens with that. But these are the things, guys, that happens. So we have plenty of people who need support. And the next question is, will people support us to support the people that we are working with? So anyway, that's in process right now.
Do you know things about the actual story?
I read it over. I couldn't do a good job regurgitating it back. The basic gist of it is very medical situation, like it's single mom. Anyway, that is a bit of that situation. So, we'll just see what happens with that, because if we were to do something, one, we would need the support of the Vision 30 partners, like either through promotion.
Is this a Lynchburg story?
Yeah. So all that to say, Amy and them were working to figure out, more details, because it was a relatively vague case as far as amounts needed and what's going to happen next and blah, blah, blah. So we need more information. So we're in the process now where we've told them to submit the nomination form with more detail. And then from there, Amy might be able to submit the request for 518 to back it financially, which is helpful for us. And then the Vision 30 partners would actually need to pull through for something. So there's a couple of things in limbo there, but it is something. So it would be a true plug and play test. So we'll see if it
You're
happens.
talking about plug and play in the way of
we just
we would
plug
reach
into an
out
event.
to.
Yeah.
Okay,
That's already happening.
Honestly, that's the only way I would want to do anything at this stage, because I'm also just, which is always the concern, but especially as we're nearing the end of the year, I'm concerned about Lynchburg burnout.
100%.
We're doing so.
Yep. It would
and we'll be asking for.
Yeah, I think it would be something we would need to, if 518 were to back with financial support for us, we could use that money on promotion to amplify the already existing event, whether it's a Friday Cheers or something at Water Dog, like a Rose Thursday type thing. So yeah, we also still have our case in Alta Vista that I need to circle back with jail about. So that might be a 2026.
That would be my personal preference.
I know it's our preference, but here, yeah, I know it's our preference.
My concern is that if we're doing it for the sake of doing it to be helpful as quick as we can, that's great. But if we're not doing it well, then we should not be doing it. So my concern would just be my concern would be doing it well, not just because we can.
Well, I think the good news about Alta Vista and the good news about our resource team is that their job now is to just assess resources, assess the situation, plug people into resources that exist.
Yeah.
And so Lori has sent over a whole bunch of information to one of our nominations, just all of these things.
She's crushing it. Yeah.
Yeah. So that helps with the stopgap for a little bit. And then if we can come through with the storytelling piece. I think that's something I'm still working out. This is like a real conversation we're having right now. Yeah, crazy. But I'm still working out what's more helpful and when is it more helpful? Like, is money more helpful? Yes, sometimes, but is being heard and telling your story in your own words and being able to see how, like in a direct way, how your experience shared impacts others, like, is that more helpful? And like when dependent. I know it's so dependent. I just would like to figure out a filter of sorts where I'm like, okay, how can I filter through all of this mess and like best place people? What was I saying? Is that what you sounded like in your pickle jar?
Pickles. I don't actually fully remember what you were saying. You were saying how to filter someone who really needs to share their story versus more so needs the financial. And then like I honestly think Casey from this past weekend obviously needs finances, but I think I'm stressed.
Just so you know, the microphone hasn't moved.
I know, because I moved it like an inch and then I moved it back. Mm-hmm. Anyways, I think while Casey obviously needed the finances, like from this past weekend, I think it's ended up, whether she was aware of it or not going into it, I think it ended up being more about her being able to share her story. I think some people might not even know, because she wasn't even super pumped to share her story. She was more nervous.
I know. That's the thing. So we don't even know.
That's what I'm saying. Crazy. The people that we talk to might not even know.
We find out it's so interesting. Like this is where, so right before we went on this live thing here, or recording, right before we started recording, we were talking about just debriefing things, and how to kind of amplify what's already happening, but then how do we just dissect everything? Like even down to, okay, we've met people who seem like they might be talkative. At least I have thought maybe they might be more, and then they get up there and they're not. Mm-hmm. Then we met people who are so quiet, and then they go up and they talk for 15 minutes straight. Yeah, it's like there's just got to be a better way for us to gauge it, and we're just gonna have to look into how to do it. So anyway, I don't know.
I think so after you and I debrief tomorrow and get a lot of it out written down, I think we should like have a separate meeting apart from anything strategic and sit down with Todd and dump some of that just on him, because I actually
look out, Todd.
Yeah, we're coming for you, buddy. Don't get too relaxed during your vacation.
Yeah.
Because I think it would have been, I think his brain would have enjoyed dissecting Saturday's show. Mm. So we'll just have to dump it on him.
Yeah.
But yeah. Well, now that we had a very serious, in-depth intro from our normal spastic intro, do we want to talk a little bit about Casey's event this past weekend?
Let's do it.
Yeah. How'd you feel about Casey's event this past weekend?
I feel like you should start.
Why?
Because look at you. You've got a vein popping out of your eyebrow. It's kind of crazy.
This one?
You got 3 all in a row, like a little tree.
That's on this side?
Mm-hmm.
Haha, you guys can't see it.
Are you okay?
A tree?
Yeah, are you all right?
Yeah, I think I have a little bit of like neck pain and a little bit of a headache over here today. So, I don't know. I might be dehydrated.
Huh.
Or you might catch a...
I don't even know what you're going to say. My hypochondriac was like
I'm okay.
On point today.
For you?
Yeah, I don't know. It was not even like something at all. It was just like, yeah, this is the end for some reason. yeah, you're
What
sick for
happened?
sure. I don't know. Just sometimes I'm like, yeah, I probably have Hodgkin's lymphoma for sure.
You don't for sure.
I like
You're
saw
okay.
my neck in the mirror and I was like, yep.
You don't have any tumors in your neck. I promise.
It's so funny that I'm like in the position that I am, being so terrified. I constantly am sick, and then I'm like
funny.
constantly around people who are sick.
Yeah.
Just always being triggered.
Yeah, we're in an interesting position because I am also a lot more of a hypochondriac than I think I used to be. But I think that's because most of the people that we do stuff with they're like, yeah, and I was fine, and then the next day it wasn't. Like,
it is crazy again to think through how many people just live their lives not thinking about all these things that we're always thinking about.
Closer.
Hello.
Better. Yeah. Well, even like when Claudia passed.
Yeah, that was crazy.
That one still rattles my brain a little bit because, I mean, aneurysms are really scary.
Yeah, Claudia was the chief program officer at 518. So Vision 30, the gathering, all those things we talked about at the beginning. She was their chief program officer. And one day she just went upstairs for like a Sunday afternoon and her husband found her just not conscious on the floor. So yeah,
that was rough.
Crazy. But 518 honestly has done a very good job because they had their big fundraiser event
that weekend.
like that same week. Like it happened on a Sunday and their event was a Thursday, I think. And they just kept going. So they have, I think, taken time to grieve and process, but also haven't let it too much slip, at least publicly. I don't know.
They've done a good job of,
I think internally they're feeling it, but externally.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
But
it's not showing on the outside.
No, they're doing a really good job with that. Okay, so Casey's event.
Back to you, Squidward.
That's not even a SpongeBob quote.
Oh, this is now.
Okay.
Welcome, Squidward. Welcome, Squidward. Welcome, Squidward. Welcome. Like that.
Oh, we're making up for our lack of this in the beginning, aren't we? Got a little too serious there.
Yeah.
Well, guys, I almost got hit by a car this weekend when we were unloading for Casey's event. I stepped off of a curb and a car almost like turned, going way too fast on a turn and almost hit me. And from the inside of the truck, one of the guys loading stuff out, I just hear a faint, "Careful, SpongeBob." And that really calmed down my adrenaline from almost getting hit by a car.
The SpongeBob vocal stems are just
"Careful, SpongeBob."
Like, it's so good.
Anyway,
I don't think those creators of that show knew that we would grow up like as full-blown adults still like just.
It's funny. The SpongeBob episodes now suck.
SpongeBob is such a good show.
OG SpongeBob is just chef's kiss. Anyways, Casey's event. Casey's event. This was, at least for me personally, an interesting one. One, because Casey's actual story, more on her addiction and recovery side, hits close to home just for a family member that I had, who struggled a lot with addiction in and out of recovery, and ultimately passed away. So that was one that, you know, her story, her sharing that part of her story, meant a lot to me. And I wasn't going to tell her that because honestly, I just sometimes keep to myself in a lot of, those spaces. But talking to her afterwards, she was like, yeah, so many people came up to me and like told me that my story like really impacted them. And so if you guys ever have another opportunity for me to share my story, I want to do that. So then I did share with her kind of, I was like, well, now that you mention it, well, now that you've really teed me up well, I might as well. So on that end, I just really appreciated her story.
How did she respond to like you sharing just?
I mean, there was a lot going on because we were actually cleaning up by the time that I did that. And she was like, yeah, no, thank you for sharing. Yeah, thank you. And then I gave her a hug and I was like, well, I'm going to keep loading up, but like, thank you. And then I talked to her friend Lindsay for a little bit. So I think, yeah, they had just been outside for a while and we were just loading up. So I was kind of running around, and I get awkward when I have to share anything of actual depth when it's someone, especially that I don't know well. So I think I kind of did one of those. That's a good things that Mackenzie calls my drive-by traumas.
Oh yeah, we love those.
Yeah, where I go, this happened in my childhood, and yeah.
So let's learn. The learning lesson there is, and I'm trying to be better about this. It's hard, but feedback loops are so important. And when you close a feedback loop, you deny the opportunity to be known and to know someone. Like, so that's a good thing to challenge yourself in and myself in, is okay, if someone's story impacts me, or someone said something that hit me in a certain way, or if someone did something kind that I appreciated, like, feedback loops are so important to keep open, because it's such a beautiful gift to give somebody. And then in return, it just like deepens relationship. Even if it's not like your best friend or someone you'll never even see again, it's still an opportunity to go deeper when life can feel so isolating sometimes.
Yeah. I do my best to try to, like, cause I'm better on the page. So sometimes I will, if that actually does happen with someone, I'll try to like text it, or, because then I leave a lot less wiggle room for me to be awkward, and a lot more room for me to be a little more authentic, less overthinking.
Yeah. I mean, awkward is authentic for you, isn't it?
Yeah, but I don't want to like
just
show
be who you
people
are.
That.
Yeah, but
I have a reputation.
But people like, no, not really, actually.
Cool.
Yeah.
Damn it.
PG.
Gosh dang it. So yeah, Casey's event. No, I was able to share that with her, and I wasn't as awkward as I can be. But so that show was a smaller turnout than I was expecting, which sent me into a panic for probably one of the first times in my history of doing shows with us. I got like anxious stomach. As far as, because normally I'm running around and I'm setting things up, or I'm putting out fires, or I'm answering questions. But this one we had set up a lot earlier in the day. So when we got to the venue, it was just like plug the volunteers into their spots and we're going. And we had more people show up late, which is normal. People normally show up late, but I clicked into like, oh my gosh, I'm a little bit anxious about our turnout. And I think it ended up, which this was, so I've been trying to parallel it with Mary's show from last year. And the thing we kept saying after Mary's show, it was a coffee shop show. It was smaller than some of our other shows, but it was a smaller venue. And the thing we kept saying after that was the people who needed to be in that room were the people who were in that room. And I think, and Mary in particular was very nervous to share in front of a group of people. And I think Casey was too, because she and Lindsay had talked to me beforehand about, because she got there and she was like, so am I going to have to talk at some point today? And I was like, yes.
It's so funny that people ask that, because I definitely say it.
I know, I've heard you say it. It is fun. I think it's just like,
they just like black out.
Yeah,
like,
I think it's once you get there and you see a stage and a mic, you're like, wait a minute. Yeah, she goes, am I gonna have to talk? And Lindsay goes, yes. And I was like, okay. And then I was like, well, so we could do it interview style if Courtney you want her up there with you and pull up 2 chairs, blah, blah. And Lindsay was like, you're fine. And so
that's amazing. 1 and 2, I actually wanted to point this out. One of our assessments that we've made is we went on to try interview style for 3 events. And it was it's so crazy to me how much you take away from people when you do interview style. And it was truly with the best of intentions. Like, okay, we'll do interview style instead of loose. It was to help keep with time. It was to help them feel more comfortable. It was to help, blah, 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 blah.
Specific questions.
Yeah. I'm like, gosh, there's just so much raw human experience that you take away when you do that. So I think we'll probably won't do interview style.
My preference is that we don't.
No.
And I think it's always a good option to offer.
If someone's really having a meltdown.
Really nervous.
Yeah.
But I think when you do a story portion interview style, then you tee that person up to expect you to ask them questions. Yeah. Right. And when you get someone up there on their own, they're almost like forced to just share their experience
and
instead of answer questions.
Much to me, it's just been so much more impactful to just be like surprised. Like you just never know what someone's going to share and how it's going to come out. Like Mary's show specifically, such a surprise. Like I was like, wow, that's crazy.
Yeah. I was watching a clip. I was showing Train a clip the other day of that one of the video guys got of me with Lonzo at that show. I was just thinking about it because I love that clip.
Lonzo's Mary's son. He was 3 at the time.
Yeah, he was running around with a phone because he was just playing with a phone while she was sharing her story. I think it's during her story portion. Oh no, because he ran up to you. So Lonzo was very like, once he kind of recognized who you were, he was very like, pick me up, carry me home. So there's a video that I just love of me like taking pictures and videos on my phone, and he just like runs over to me and crawls in my lap. And so I just put my phone away and hold him for a second. And then in the clip, you can actually see me looking down at the phone that he's holding. And I say, are you looking at Zillow? Because he crawled over and he was scrolling Zillow.
Social media, aka Zillow.
He was literally, so I'm like, oh yay. And then I'm like, that's a nice house. Like he's like, and it wasn't even an ad. He's like fully on Zillow, which was so funny. I love that kid. But yeah, no. So I was trying to parallel Mary's story with Casey's as far as knowing that the people who needed to be in that room are the people who were there. And I think that it probably also eased Casey that instead of a crowd of 200 people, it's like it was a very intimate. She got to talk to every single person in that room. I saw pretty much everyone go up and have an intentional conversation with her after she shared. And so that was really cool, and she seemed really happy about the conversations that she got to have.
Really cool.
And went from nervous to share, and then told both you and I after the show, like, if I can ever do this again, I want to share my story.
That's
again.
Awesome. Yeah.
So that was cool. But yeah, I was struggling a lot and still struggling the Monday after as far as turnout, because separate from, the storyteller and the artist had a great time, and like separate from that, I'm looking at it as we do this every day as our job. We need to be able to fill that room. And so some things that I think personally were, we'll call it working against us. One of the things was like, I think that was the first show that they've ever done in that space as a venue.
Kind of.
Well,
they've done like things, but
they've done little things, but not like a concert.
It was in a venue that's not really a venue. It's more of a clothing shop, print shop, which to me I think is really cool.
Oh, super
if it could
cool.
it just needs to build the notoriety of what it is.
Yeah.
The other issue too, for sure, is like half stack threads didn't pull up apparently on people's GPSs. It pulled up on mine, but
it didn't pull up on mine. I had to type in Nimble merch.
Yeah, so that's another thing we need to. Well, these are real time debriefs, y'all. We need to, if it's not a venue that everybody, like it's not the Academy or it's not the, I don't know, 3 Roads.
Yeah.
Like if it's something like that's a little off the beaten path, just making sure.
Well, and like people don't know what it is. It's not even just like, oh, I've heard of that. Yeah, I need to type it in my GPS. It's like people have not heard of it as a spot, just because they are working on building some consistency there and like a name as far as a potential venue space. So that was a factor for sure. I talked to one guy yesterday and he was like, oh yeah, that's a hair salon, isn't it? I was like, nope. No. He goes, oh, it's so cool you guys are showing a hair salon. Nope.
I mean, I'd love to.
That would be
good.
super cool, but no.
Actually, there's like a slight opportunity for that to happen in the future.
With Emily?
No.
Where? Mel has a hair salon.
Mel has a connection to a hair salon place, and it's like also like a little mini venue.
Where?
I'll have to get with her.
Like in Lynchburg, though?
Yeah.
That's so funny.
Mel was like,
let's do it.
My friend texted me. She's like, what if we blah, 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 and do this? And I was like, girl, here's the thing, y'all. and I love all these people. It's like people have so many ideas, and Mel is someone I actually would trust. If she said yes, she would 100% execute it. But like, those are the kind of texts you get all the time of like, you guys should do this, this, and this. And I'm like, and we'll work on it. We'll work on it. But the more people we can get who like we truthfully and like can guide to execute, the more we can do.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Anyway, there's a potential we might be able to do that next year.
I'll have to tell Will he is psychic.
He's onto something.
Yeah, he's onto something. Yeah. So that was a factor. It was just a weird one. It was a weird one for me. I don't know.
I think like the thing to process in it is, one, factors. What factors did we have? And this has been cited as our greatest strength and our greatest weakness all at the same time. So I don't know what to do with it. I really don't. But our greatest strength is that we high dose people with a really meaningful experience. That's awesome. But because of where we're at, what we do is highly centered on individuals and not on the mission. And so if somebody doesn't, and we've known this since probably November of last year, which is crazy that it's almost been a year and I'm still trying to figure out what to do with the information. And I think we're getting closer. But it's like, people are right now we're dependent on either people know the person or people know the artist or people know the venue. And if they don't know those three things, our factors come very hard against us because we don't have a lot of people bought into the mission yet.
We have a couple people who show up because they know it's a Love Heals event. Right,
but not as many as it would be if it were just this like mission hypothetical, or not even hypothetical, like I go to this show because it does this. But right now it's like, I go to this show because I know Casey.
It's hard to make people care about a person that they don't. I mean, even think about like,
a
when
person
you're
that they
trying
don't
to
know.
Make a new friend, like if you're trying to make a new friend, someone that you met once at some kind of event, you're an acquaintance, or you met them at something, sometimes it's really hard to just make someone care about you. And you know everything about you. You know how to share hopefully your own story and that kind of thing. And making someone care about someone who they don't know and they can't see their personality and you don't see them interact in the real world is really hard.
Really hard.
Easy to make someone, to an extent, it's easy to make someone care about a cure for cancer or
a cause, because they can fit their own narrative into that cause. If someone can't fit their narrative or see themselves in someone's story, then why would they participate? And you can't blame them for that. And so it's kind of been like, it's something I'm wrestling with as we speak, where I'm like, at what point am I is like the way I operate getting in the way of us growing? And so it's kind of like stuff I think about. And like, there's so much I don't want to lose, because I see how it works and I see how important it is. And I see the impact and I see the people line up. Even with Elaine's show, I'll never forget watching people line up to pray for her. And she had denied prayer for so long because of her own hurt with church and religion and Christianity. And just to see, I just like, man, I don't want to lose that. But if I can't get people in the room because they don't understand, but they would understand it if we did it a little bit differently. Like, you just have to lay it all on the table and assess what's important, where do you fit it. So all that to say, Casey is new to Lynchburg. She doesn't have a lot of community here. So we were her community for the night. And I really wanted to focus on that for the evening. Like, okay, there may only be 25 people here, but these 25 people are going to be your 25 people for the evening. And then the artist we were working with hasn't done shows in a while. So that was another factor. So it's just all the things. I think we had a lot of
I don't want to say things working against us, but we definitely didn't have a lot working for us.
I would say we didn't have a lot of leverage.
Yes.
But and I think we also didn't realize how little leverage we had until it was too late to do anything about it.
Yeah. We, the night of, it's like 5 minutes before we're supposed to start. And we normally actually bump our start time historically about
I knew it was going to be a small crowd. I just didn't understand.
Well, it was funny. Our friend Jesse walks in because he was helping us set up and stuff. And I was like, what do we do what would we do if like no one came? And Jesse's like, oh, I didn't even, is that something we're thinking about? I was like, out.
He's like,
that's not helpful. Out.
I didn't even think of that till just now. Now I'm anxious. I'm like,
yeah,
welcome.
he's like, he sat down.
Yeah, he got the instant panic that we funny. Get. So
yeah,
I think.
Well, Lynchburg is not sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. Go ahead and finish your thought.
No, you're fine. Because I was kind of going to put a bow on some of it, but go ahead.
I was just going to say Lynchburg is not a music discovery town.
Certainly not.
It is not. And like, that's something I'm thinking about more after this weekend is that, Lynchburg isn't like, oh my gosh, a new band. We got to go check out the only time I've ever seen them do that is when that guy, Hunter Overstreet, started a new band that I cannot remember the name of. Kappa Koopa of Kapata.
That sounds right.
Yeah. And I think the only reason that show was full was because they literally were promoting that it was Hunter Overstreet's new band. And the people who are well known in Lynchburg and are Lynchburg famous, and the people who do cover bands, or the people that are already known do really well here. But no one in Lynchburg is like seeking out new music except for like us.
Well,
it's a very small community of people, so let me not say
I don't know.
one.
I wouldn't even say us though. I'm not seeking out new music. To be honest,
when I see a new band come up on Facebook, I'm like, we should check them out. So I go do.
Yeah, I check them out for work purposes.
Oh, that's what I was saying.
I'm not checking them out. If I wasn't doing this, I would not
saying for work purposes.
Right. But like, truthfully, what we do doesn't fit or speak to me. Like when it comes to just shows, I'm not a big like, oh, this random band's playing down, we should go check them out. In fact, I typically find it to be annoying because I want to go hang out with people and talk. Yeah. And when I have to yell over music, I appreciate the listening side of things. I love being able to know and understand story, and I love listening to someone share, and I love environments where if I did go alone, I would have opportunity to meet people. Like that's why I like networking groups, because I can go by myself to a networking group and I can walk out knowing people because it was set up for people.
That's the intention of that.
You're right. Yeah. So to me, that's what I care more about. So it's just funny that we're using this vehicle. Like I was talking to Anna Grace the other day. She is the receptionist, I guess. Yeah, for the Lynchburg Regional Business Alliance. And she was like, I really want to come to one of your shows, but then I realized I don't really like concerts. And I just like, for some reason,
she came to Oceanic.
She did. And she was like, it was great. But like, I just like can't get myself to like want to go, even though I want to go because like I want to support you, but I just don't want to. And I told her about the ideas for 2026, and she was like, okay, I would like that, because there is just a certain type of people like me. But then I'm like, do I want to build something for me, or do I want to build something for Lynchburg? So again, these are the questions that I ask myself.
Are those the only two options?
Not just for Lynchburg, I guess. Replace.
For the general population?
Well, yeah, because each city is going to have, so when I say for Lynchburg, substitute for Charlottesville, for Richmond, for whatever.
Okay, I was just checking that we were building it.
So one is like for people like me and what I would enjoy. And the other one is, what does this community want? I find myself wondering. And I think I have an idea about how to navigate it, I think.
Okay.
But that's for a conversation for a different day. Probably not on a podcast.
Yeah,
unless someone really wants to hear what I'm thinking.
I mean, I'm sure they would, but I'll probably have a lot of I'm sure we'll just have feedback. A lot of feedback. Yeah,
maybe one day we'll just like record a meeting and someone can just hear kind of how we work through things and discuss.
Yeah, well, I'd love, so we have a couple more episodes that we're going to film, and I want to do some, maybe a day where you and I knock out like 2 episodes and just get them filmed, because I'd love, so next week we'll kind of talk about the tour and dive a little bit into that. And then we're going to end our first season of the podcast, probably end of October. And then I think we'll probably start up maybe December going into January, something like that, depending on calendar stuff. But also, I think one of our last episodes going out of this first season of the podcast will be talking about I want us to talk about like all the ideas for 2026. And just
okay, everybody,
dump.
Get ready.
Yeah, which and they're subject to change, and
it's all subject to change.
Everything is subject to change.
We have it on a strategic plan though, so
we do, and it's subject to be tweaked. And that's the point of our strategic plan being it's looking 3 years out, and the point is to assess yearly and say like what's working, what's not working.
Oh no, I think we assess quarterly.
Are we assessing quarter? Well, we assess quarterly, and then we make adjustments every year. I guess what I was saying. Yeah. Like, that's when we tweak and stuff. So I would love for us to do just a brain dump of 2026 episode where you just go ahead and shoot the things. But that will definitely be a different day when you and I both don't have like things scheduled after. We'll make a day.
Right.
But
what was one positive thing you took away from the Casey event though? Like what was your like main takeaway?
My main takeaway or one positive thing?
Let's go with your main takeaway.
We also had a professional yo-yoer, a yogi, if you will.
But then we found out there were other people. There was 2 other people there who could yo-yo really well.
2?
Yeah,
Who's
Jason.
the other person? Our Jason?
Mm-hmm.
He can yo-yo well?
He was walking the dog.
I did see him walk the dog.
I was like,
I said, Jason, take some road yo-yos for the kids before you go. He took a handful of yo-yos. Okay. We had a professional yo-yoer, which I'm going to have to look up. I'm going to Google if that's a thing. Like if there's a term for it. Professional.
I think it would just be pro-yo.
Term. Yo-yo-er.
Do, you know how Red Bull sponsors things that athletes do? Do you think they sponsor yo-yoers?
If they don't, I'm sure that's a...
Red Bull, missed opportunity.
So there is no one single term, but professional yo-yoer or yo-yo artist are common and accurate ways to describe someone. Artist. Anyways. Yes, we had a professional yo-yoer, a yo-yo artist, if you will, at the event, which was crazy, but he had apparently a good experience as well and would like to, do some
He's like,
yo-yoing.
Hey, let me know
events.
if you want me to come out again. I was like, he was like, I would really love to. We also had another artist show up, Kyler.
Yeah. A kid who wants to work with us in the future.
It's so cool. Sorry, I know I asked you the question, but it's so cool. I think my favorite thing about what we do, not the shows, like just in general, like live. And I think that's what gets me so excited about Love Heals. I don't care about the shows. In fact, and I don't mean that like as harsh as it sounds, but I don't get a lot of fulfillment from seeing something happen like that. Like I'm not a big, I like even finishing shows. I don't like finishing shows. I don't like finishing books. I don't like seeing the final product because it's usually always smaller than what I anticipate because I'm a visionary. So I tend to have like a grieving process, like probably the week of an event up until the day of, because for me, the energy comes from the planning. The energy comes from the ideas. The energy comes from who we get to meet in the process. It's not so much, and that's partially my working genius. I think has a lot to do with it. Tenacity is just not on my list of things that I enjoy. Yeah. I tend to be more sad and disappointed. Not even if the show's great, I just tend to be more somber after and during an event because that's not where my fulfillment and satisfaction comes from. To me, it's like the end of a thing so it's like many grieving processes along the way. Even if something's stressful, it still ends And it's like, I love the momentum building up, hate the actual process. So just finding someone to actually enjoy. Yeah. Well, that's true. So that's good because I love the build up. But
the process building up is for me what feels like the most pressure part, I guess, because aside from getting people like through the door the night of, I'm like, meh. Once the night of starts and it's rolling and I can like see people enjoying what we did and actually see all the pieces that we worked on like click together and mesh and become one thing. I like that. I think it's cool.
That's fun. I'm glad you like that. Because I just am like,
well, don't you think it's cute to see people? That is something that I really like that we do is, like, don't you think it's fun to see people who don't know us or don't know some of the things come and enjoy something that we made? Or even people that we do know. Nope.
I don't
even the people that we do know who come and they're like, this is cool, or like, I love this, or like, that was really awesome. Like, I love when people get to enjoy something that we made.
Yeah, I
like when you cook and I'm like, that food is really good. Do you not feel any
I mean, I'm glad people like it. Don't get me wrong. I'd rather you guys, like, people enjoy it than hate it. Trust me.
What?
But there is nothing in me that like lives for that feeling. No.
That's cool.
I don't, I like literally, I'm like, that's great. I'm so glad. How can we do better? Like, that is me. 100% of the time. I'm like, how could we make it better? How can we make it better? So that's where, for me, switching into the invention part or the wonder part of like, okay, they enjoyed this. How do we do that again? Or this didn't really work. How do we either make it that better or not do that? And then what do we replace it with? So I live for that process. It keeps me thinking. And I've was thinking today about how much I just love thinking. That's like one of my favorite things to do is to think. So I love it. I'm like, I love being inspired. I love having something to reach for. I love having something to work with. So for me, when people enjoy it, it's just a data point for how to do it again next time and to amplify it. So, but no, it's not like, I have learned from hearing you talk about that I should sit down and listen to these moments. But that is not my natural bent to, like, I'm already moving on. Like, we're just going to keep flying by.
That's okay, because if, for me, and we talk about this a lot, you and I are very, very different in processing, in what we care about, in how we execute, in thought patterns. So, which helps us a lot because we are such stark opposites in a lot of those areas, but still agree and still want the same outcome and still like, so there's a lot of good in our differences. But like, I would not, if someone enjoyed something from one of the events and I knew that someone enjoyed that we had X, Y, and Z or something, I would just be like, cool, I guess we'll just do that again. But I probably my brain naturally wouldn't be like, how do we take that and improve upon it to make it even better the next time? I would just repeat it because it was well received, so I'll just do it again. So I think that's good, because like I tend to slow down more and be in the actual, like, watching people interact in the thing, and then you have
that was terrifying.
Please,
my jaw is going nuts. Sorry.
That's like my least favorite thing in horror movies, when the crunchy noise happens when like something is like crawling around.
Sorry. It's my jaw.
That was gross.
TMJ
Anyways,
people.
Yeah.
Sorry.
TMJ ASMR. Anyways. Yeah. So I think it's good. It's good that you
both
think that way. And
both is very good.
Yeah.
We need both. Needed. 100%, because it's not even like just repeat it for me that gets me excited. It's why did it work? Which is where that's what wondering is. I'm like, why did it work? What was it about this particular setting that worked? Would that work again in this type of setting? Is this a universal experience, or is this a one-time experience based on these circumstances? Was it a personal experience, or is it a core motivator from all humans? That's what fascinates me about the whole thing. So that's what I'm constantly thinking about and wondering. So anyway, like to get me in my ideal world, I need to not be involved with some of those last couple weeks of getting to the event so that I can come to the event fresh without the pressure or the disappointment or the whatever feelings that I sometimes get so that I can be assessing it from a more tactical and less involved standpoint. But
I also I'm okay with the day of, because I like to know how the setup is. I like to know where my people are. I like to know that we're like, when we start the event, it's going to be kicked off well. And then I like being in the actual event. But those couple like days or like the week leading up to it, I don't enjoy. I think that's where like my tenacity turns into a frustration, is right when I get on the cusp of the event. Then the day of, I'm good. But like right before is where I just switch into like, I don't like doing this.
There's all good things to be aware of. But I just realized I never finished my thing. We went on a rabbit trail there for a long second.
What thing?
Well, I was saying the thing I love the most about what we do. And then I switched into, which is not the shows. And that took us on a whole different trajectory.
Okay.
So,
and then I still have to say what my biggest takeaway was.
Oh yeah. Okay. So I love watching people, and I've said this before and I'll say it again, turn something they enjoy into the benefit of someone else. So the guy who came, Kyler, who wants to perform, who truly was like, I'm not a performer. I do music for myself. But when I broke my leg on that accident and had to relearn how to walk, and like really could have used someone like you, but I made it through, and now I want to use this thing that I do for myself to help somebody else because I know what it's like to not have. And so if I can be a part of that, I want to be a part of that. I think that is just so unbelievably amazing. And it could be anything. That's always been what inspires me so much about what we do, is like all we're doing is showing people a map on what it looks like and like then we're trying to just give them an opportunity, like, hey, turn your pain or your story into someone else's benefit, and it'll make it more meaningful. Because I'm not saying it's not meaningful just doing music for yourself, but what happens when you can turn it into someone else's blessing? Like that is huge. And like not in a selfish way or like a self-sacrificial way where, oh, everything I do has to do this or else it's not meaningful. Like, no, that's not what it is. But like, it's such a cool thing when in a healthy way, you can take what you love and turn it into someone else's joy and someone else's purpose and someone else's help.
Yeah. I think that's like, we saw a storyteller from 2023 this past week working, we're in Target, and it's a kid that we worked with in 2023, and she's working at Starbucks now, and so we got to see her. And she looks great. She's like glowing up. So she just looks like she's doing really well, which is always, I don't know, it's always fun. And then I learned that another storyteller, actually last week was now I'm like just processing it. Last week I got 2 like kind of good updates from 2 storytellers that we worked with, one in 23 and one in 24. So a couple we worked with in 24 is looking at like fostering kids now, and then we saw someone that we worked with in 23, and she just looks a lot lighter and brighter than when we worked with her. And I think well, it's something cool that happens at every story, and this was my biggest takeaway. So it all is coming together. But I think one of my favorite takeaways from a lot of our shows is when I hear the feedback of, like someone came up to me after the show and told me that either they had been going through that or someone they knew had been going through that, or they didn't know that was their experience until they heard me say it. And so that was one of my major takeaways from this past weekend and most of our shows is that Casey was like, people came up to me after that and like talked to me. That was so cool. So how
amazing is that?
It's really cool. If you go through something that hurts and is so hard for you, and the amount of work that someone has to put into themselves and the amount of time, the amount of effort it takes to get to the point where you can share about that thing that happened, with grace and with more self-awareness. And, if you can get to a point where you can share that and then share insight from that, I think it's such a redeeming thing, and it really helps with the pain that you went through to hear someone come up and say that because you got to a point where you can share it, you affected someone else. And that happened at the show for the girl that we saw this week. I know that happened at the show for the couple that I was just talking about. And I know that happened at Casey's. I know that happened at Danetta's earlier this year. Danetta was like, I feel a little famous. Like, this one girl in particular came up to her and was like, my mom just finished her battle with breast cancer. Like, can I give you a hug? Like, that to me, and I think that kind of flows into what you were saying, but that is one of my favorite things, because we do work with a lot of people, and we've talked about how, like, you and I are kind of the first line of digesting a hard story. And then how do we present that back to people and absorb some of the pain and make it digestible for others. So how redemptive must it feel to be the person on the stage sharing something that was really hard, and then have someone come up to you and be like, thank you, like thanking you for going through something that was painful. So that is one of my favorite parts of the shows, and one of my favorite takeaways from that was that multiple people in a small room came up and told Casey that they were really impacted by something she shared. And I liked that you asked that question too when she was getting off of, not the stage, but like coming back from sharing. You asked, like, okay, how many people in the room have had a similar, I think you said, were affected by some of the stuff that Casey shared, or had similar experiences, and more like, I didn't expect a lot of hands, honestly, but more hands went up than I would have expected. I think like five to six people, myself included. Like, so that was, I don't know, that was cool. We get to like help. Which is something we constantly say. There's a lot of healing and listening and being heard. I don't know. So that's just,
man, there's a lot to think about here. Giving us a lot of data points to cover. We'll see. We'll sit down tomorrow, whiteboard some of this out, and then if anyone has any feedback, let us know.
Any final thoughts?
I need to check the time real quick.
Take away.
Because I got a call right now.
You got to go. All right. Well,
that was it, guys.
That'll be a wrap.
I got to go get on a Zoom call.
We'll see you guys next week.
We'll see you later.
Bye.
And we'll end it on that.
Perfect.
When do you want to watch the content? Then I'll send it to you.